Hey ladies, it is day 12 of our fast. Can you believe that? Time sure does fly when you're having fun. Some of y'all are like, really, I'm not having fun. Listen, but the power of us coming together really cannot be, what's the word I'm looking for? It can't be described. So today I want to talk about the power of a collective fast. The power of a collective fast. And I'm reminded of two very familiar passages of scriptures. One is the passage in the book of Esther where Esther calls a collective fast. Do you all remember that? When she is instructed by by Mordecai to go into the king to plead for her people's lives. And she says, if I perish, I perish, but I'm going into the king on this here day. So now, Mordecai, you get the people, you all fast for me there, and I'm going to fast. We're going to fast for the next 3 days together. And we know how the story ends, that Haman is destroyed, and the people who were going to come up against them turn on themselves, and Esther and her people are able to collect all of the booty that is attached to those people, so they walk away more wealthier than when they started. How powerful is that? Then the other passage of scripture that I'm reminded of is in Second Chronicles, the 20th chapter. I love that story. Absolutely love it. When all of the ites are coming up against Jehoshaphat and the people of God, the Mennonites, the Amorites, all of those people. And the first thing that Jehoshaphat does is, first of all, he gets scared, okay? Then he gets himself together and he says, okay, let me get myself together. And then he prays. And then he says, okay, let's go into a collective fast. And we know how that story ends as well. The same way that the story ends in Esther, that the reality is the people of God are victorious when it's all over, said and done. And so this is our story, ladies. This is who we are too. God is no respecter of person, and we are intentional about coming together collectively to collectively fast and to bring our situations and our issues and our concerns before the Lord, just as Esther did with her people and as Jehoshaphat did with his people. And remember now, in that, I love that when they were praying, the Lord gives a word to Jehaziel, who is not a priest of God, but he is just in the camp and he is participating, and the Lord speaks to him. And this is instructive for us because, listen, no one has a market on hearing from God. It doesn't matter what your position is and all of that. No one has a market on that. And so in this collective fast, God is speaking to all of us. He can speak to each of us. He can speak to any one of us about our lives, about this group. It doesn't matter. God is able to do that. The power is not so much in whom he's speaking to. The power is in the fact that all of the people were coming together on one accord, seeking God for a time such as that. We are seeking God for a time such as this. And so, counting that robbery, counting that strange, when the Lord begins to speak to you, when the Lord begins to give you what I like to call downloads, give you downloads about what's going on, give you downloads about your family members and things that are going on around us. That's the power of God. When we open up ourselves to hear from God, God speaks. I'm of the mind that he never stops speaking. It's just we cannot hear him until we are intentional about really getting close to God, living close to God, listening for what he has to say, being intentional about hearing him, seeking him, wanting to hear him, desiring to hear him. That's when God makes a connection with us and he gives us these downloads. But the fact of the matter is, he's always speaking. He's always releasing new ideas and creativity and all of these things in the earth realm. Why do you think all these things continue to be created? It's not just coming from these people's minds. It's coming from God. God has given them a download, whether they acknowledge him or not. But we know that the source of creative ideas and witty inventions come from God. So that means to me, he's always speaking. It just depends on who's listening, and not just listening, but then acting, putting it forward, putting the work to the faith to bring it together. Now, some of these people, they don't call it faith. They just get an idea and they move with it. This is why I've been very intentional, and I believe the Lord has called us into this period of consecration, because the people of God have got to step up to the plate. We've got to up our game. You have more people who are not speaking about God, who are making cash money, because they are doing what the people of God should be doing. They're getting ideas, they're implementing them, they're executing them, and they're profiting from them. Their gift is making room for them. Yes. Whether they apply that scripture or not, that's what's happening, because the principles are universal. They apply to everybody. They apply to all of us. Whether we engage with the Lord or not, they apply their principles. Principles are universal. And so we have to be intentional about doing likewise. Okay. So listen, we are executing some power because we are doing this together. And I know that in years to come, we're still going to be hearing testimonies from this time period. I'm a witness. I think I shared with you all coming into this year, I was intentional on my fast that I wanted God to give me more exposure. He has done that. And he's not done yet, because we have not come to the end of the year. He is not done yet. My 2 words for next year are expansion and earnings. Yes. I couldn't think of a word Saturday when I was preaching with the ladies. I said expansion and wealth. Yeah. But then the Lord gave it to me. Expansion and earnings. Those are my 2 words for next year. And I want you to watch and see what God does. What are your words? Yes. What are your words? Okay, talk to you later.